This week, convicted double murderer Brendan Banfield will be sentenced to life in prison for killing his wife and another man inside the family's Fairfax County home.
News 4 covered the au pair affair trial for weeks. Well, now there is a new curveball in the case. Banfield's defense attorneys are asking the judge to set aside the jury's guilty verdict and acquit him.
Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder was in the courtroom for every day of that trial. Drew joins us now. All right, Drew, so walk us through, what is Banfield's argument at this point?
Well, Erica, it's a weak one, according to one criminal defense attorney I was talking with today. Tomorrow morning, the same judge who presided over the criminal trial will hear a motion to set aside the verdict. It's effectively a post-trial last-ditch effort. I read through the defense motion, and here's the gist. Back in February, Brendan Banfield was found guilty of 2 counts of aggravated murder for allegedly conspiring with the family's Brazilian au pair, with whom he was having an affair, to catfish a man over to the family's home to perform this staged rape fantasy with Banfield's wife, Christine. Then a jury sided with prosecutors who say Banfield then brutally murdered Christine and the other man, Joseph Ryan. Well, tomorrow, defense attorney John Carroll will argue that 3 errors were permitted at trial, essentially factual errors, not real legal issues. And he'll try to convince the court that those errors had a material impact on the jury's decision to convict, Erica.
Drew, can we ask you, let's do a deep dive on this, if you would, please.
Yeah.
Explain to us what exactly Banfield's attorney is calling an error, because we said it's not factual, right? So what does that mean?
Well,
then?
it is a little bit more factual than an actual legal argument. So a legal claim here would be, say, one of the jury instructions was incorrect. These are the types of arguments that we hear at appeals and when a jury verdict might actually get set aside. These are issues of fact, really. So defense attorney John Carroll is claiming that prosecutors pointed to Banfield's silence during the investigation as evidence against him. Remember, Brendan Banfield didn't cooperate with the investigation or with police for months, really the entire time that it was under investigation. Prosecutors say the silence that they called out at trial was well before he was ever arrested. So he doesn't have the same protections that are afforded to all of us under Miranda rights. He wasn't cooperating with. They didn't bring anything up after he was read his Miranda rights. It's perfectly his right to remain silent at that point. But they said prior to his arrest, when he was in the hospital, when there was blood all over his clothes, his wife is dying in the bedroom floor, that would seem like an opportunity to cooperate with police. And they pointed to the fact that he didn't, and that's what they called attention to in the jury. Prosecutors say that that's absolutely legal. The other 2 errors the defense is claiming is that the court violated what's called a rule on witnesses. And then lastly, the Commonwealth didn't correct false testimony from the au pair.
Drew, I know that you said this motion to set aside the verdict is really a long shot here.
Yeah, Sean, one attorney I talked with today said this is like trying to hit a 99-yard field goal. Assuming that field goal attempt falls short, Banfield will be sentenced to life in prison on Friday.
Drew Wilder joining us live in the newsroom. Drew, thank you.